I didn't do it.
Okay, so I think I said something on my live stream or even in my channel that I was going to cut the end of this off and of this brand new hay rake and fix it. So I went to an estate sale and sent Timothy to go ahead and instructed Timothy to cut this off. As you can see, this steel is only 3/16, a little more, a 1/16 more than 1/8 of an inch, or I would say that's something like 4 millimeter, right? 4 millimeter, I would think. That's all the thicker that is for you English and Europeans and the rest of the world. 3/8, well, 4 millimeter, 4.5 millimeter, something like that. That is too damn thin. Now, this rake has raked absolutely, this frame has raked absolutely nothing. And no, I've got the hole saw here. The hole saws that I just had. I had bought hole saws. Yeah, hole saws. It's either that or I torch them. So, but you can look down there. If you look down the beam of this thing, I'm going to try and get you an eye view. You can't see it, but I can. We've only raised it up and lowered it like twice.
I can see the bend in it.
And it's already bent. It's already bent where that hydraulic cylinder is. This is a tilt cylinder right here. Now, somebody asked me if I could block that. I guess I could, but I'd need to make it solid, and even then, the tilting action of that is what makes it rake so well. So, anyway, I couldn't do that. So we have to beef it up. Ow, fucker, it's my head. So I've got a hole saw. He's got that, and what we're gonna do is he's just gonna punch some holes in here.
Is this like a metal hole saw?
It is a metal hole saw, yeah.
Well, I mean, we'll drill through metal.
Yes, it's a metal hole saw. At least it's supposed to be. Heart and ass disease again. See what it does. Not too fast on that because it'll dull it, I think. Oh, that's weird. Where's the screw? That screw wasn't set correctly. Just a screwdriver. So anyway, we'll get this, we're going to drill through here in several different spots, and that's where we're going to plug weld it into that when we drive that this quarter-inch chunk of steel through there. So we'll have this quarter-inch steel and 3/16 steel combined. What is that? Quarter, yeah, 3/4 of an inch? No, quarter, half inch. About a half inch, right? Quarter and a quarter is a half. So it ain't quite a quarter of an inch. Not quite a half an inch, so we'd say 7/16 of an inch of steel between there. For you metric guys, you can figure that one out. 7/16 is something like 8 millimeter, maybe? 9 millimeter? What's the matter?
Oh, when they had the set.
Yeah, they didn't put it in right.
They put it in sideways.
Yeah, well, get it in the right way.
Bastards.
Yep, so did you loosen it?
Yeah, I did.
Alright, so I'll put you on the tripod and then you can look at Tim's ass crack while he works. Yeah. For all you ass crack rump rangers out there, it's Tim's ass crack. Right, Tim? You gotta clean up that oil mess you've made. Here it is. Big now. Too hot. Okay, so I finished it. Me and Tim did the work. Obviously, you saw it, and this is what we had to do. This was too hot to paint, but I painted it anyway. And for some reason, when you bake that New Holland enamel, it doesn't come off. It actually doesn't look too bad. These welds aren't the greatest. Well, they're whole. They're not the prettiest, let's put it that way, because of the way we cut it off. I would have preferred taking a grinder and grinding the old weld off completely instead of cutting it like Timothy did, but that's Timothy for you. He'll do it his way, I guess. We got 4 holes in here, or 2 holes on the top, 1 on each end here. And, ooh, that one's still a bit sticky. And then we got 4 holes across the back. 1, 2, 3, 4. This is where it bends, right here. This is where it breaks, right here. So, with this being welded there, and this being welded here against the new piece of 1/4" steel, it's going to take all those stresses there. Even if it does crack there, it can't go anywhere. Worst comes to worst, I just get the hole saw out or the torch out, and I torch a piece out of the top of that thing and go ahead and weld it to the inner piece. But I don't think I'm going to have that problem anymore. Last time I worked on the rakes that I have had for many years was I built a truss or a bridge around the back. Now, the steel that I put in, or that me and Timothy put in, is 1/4" thick. Ugh. Okay, so you got a 1/4" thick piece of steel. If they would have used 4x4, then 4x4x4, I wouldn't have any of these problems here. And the other thing is that me and Dad were talking about was the actual, the stupidity of this company. And don't get me wrong, this rake, I love these rakes. They're cheap. The reason I buy these cheap rakes is because they're easily accessible. There's lots of them out there. They're pretty durable for, for what I do. They're fast in the field. They're good in the corners. They clean the field very well, and they don't plug up. The Peckway is limited in what it can do as far as the heft of the hay. Second cut, alfalfa, clover, or any other crop, perfect. If you're running 9-foot hay binds, perfect. The Peckway will work. But 15 feet, that's a little bit too much for the Peckway, but these handle them okay. So right here is where these things break, right here. And I explained this in one of the other videos, but if you see there's an overlapping weld, well, there's a lot of heat. I think this is 3/8. I believe that's 3/8. This is 3/8, or is that 1/4? Let's see. No, that's 1/4. No, this is 3/8. So this is 3/8 here. This is 1/2 inch here, and this is 3/16. The frame itself is only 3/16. And I'll prove that to you here in a second when I get out here. Here, I'll prove it to you right now because my battery's going dead. Right here. See how thin that is? Little 3/16 crap. If they would have made this out of 1/4" 4x4, I'd have none of these problems. If you look at these arms, this is 3/16 here, but then they wrap it with another 3/16. So, there's a 1/2 inch of steel there. These are 1/2 inch pieces of plate steel. This is 1/2 inch. And the other thing is, in order to burn 1/2 inch to 3/16, there's got to be a lot of heat in here. And it burns that piece of steel. This part here, again, you got 3/8 inch plate steel on either side. and you've got this 3/16 piece, and that 6-inch cylinder, or 5-inch cylinder right there. That's a 5-inch cylinder. When you hit that thing, it grabs it, jerks it pretty quickly and pretty powerfully, and it bends it. Well, now I've got, what, 7/16 steel tubing in there together between the two pieces. I don't think I'm going to have a problem. I did this with one of the other rakes, and it seems to have solved any of my issues. So, yeah, it's just like building a heavy frame here on top of a weak frame here. It's stupid. It's just not that smart. So, I'm hoping that I have alleviated the problem that I was having with it. The other problem that I will have with these, and is a problem. This is a brand new rake, by the way, and I think they use Chinese steel in this. It says made in America, made in the USA, but I think they use Chinese steel because I've got a crack already on this thing. And I'm telling you, this rake has only done a few hundred acres. It hasn't done 1,000 acres. It hasn't done 500 acres. I think it's done about 200 acres. The other thing is these pipes here. Obviously, I had Timothy weld that. He is not a very good welder. He's learning, so don't ride his ass too bad. But you know, he did okay here, but here he was doing it on the. It was a vertical weld, so it's kind of tough. This is the one that I did, which again wasn't the greatest. You know, I have some issues there, but anyway. I did this one, Tim did that one. I got 4 more to do, and I'm going to do them. I'm not going to cut them off. I'm just going to add a piece of pipe, drill a hole into it, and weld it in like I have here on the inner piece, and that'll alleviate that. But the reason I'm going to do that is because Timothy had hit something with that front rake assembly, and it bent it a little bit, not too bad. Just, you know, it just bent it a little bit, and when we went to straighten it out with heat, which is all I was going to do, is straighten it out and then put the new pipe in the center of it and drill it out and put it in, the seam opened up. It broke the seam for the welded seam on that pipe. You know, so anyways, I'm just going to doctor the rest of these things up. And I'm seriously considering building my own rake that can handle me and my business. Similar to this, only built to take the abuse of mulch hay production. I think I can do it. It's a pretty simple project. It doesn't need to be any bigger than what these rakes are, I don't think. I mean, I would build them slightly different than this. These tandem rake wheels, I wouldn't have those. I would have solid axles like the Peckway has, but my pivots would be on the top instead of the bottom. You know, those are just my thoughts. But yeah, I think that's what I need to do. Next thing I need to do is right here. I need to box this, because what happens with these is the heat and everything, and this is 1/8-inch steel. This isn't even 3/16. This is 1/8. This is thinner yet, and what happens is it actually breaks these off. So I'm going to get some flat steel that I have. I got some 3-inch flat steel, and I'm going to weld that right over top of it, sealing that up on the front on both sides, because they break. So, and I'll tell you, they don't, if you see the seam is here on this one, okay, but the seam is on the side on this one, so they're non-discriminate when they put these on. They just throw a piece of steel down, and they don't like put the seam on the front side, this side, where it could be beefed up by this piece here. They put it just any old place where it can fail. I haven't had one fail at the seam on the square tubing yet, but that's coming. That's coming. So anyways, that's tomorrow's job. I'm going to go ahead and grind that off. I'm going to put a piece of flat iron over the top of both sides of it, weld it on real nice, and I'll have Timothy cut the pipes for the centers of those other 4, and we'll do that. But I have court tomorrow, so I got to go to that. I got caught talking on the telephone, and it's a mandatory court appearance in New Jersey. You can't even pay the fine. You just have to stand before the judge and let him berate and yell at you, because that's New Jersey for you. Gotta love them.